Anu ma'am,
Rupa, what is it? I'm not having one.
ma'am, I think
Amma,
ma'am was disconnected. She started
she
sharing
must
the
have
screen
not
and
realized. I think she has not realized. She's
yes, ma'am.
not back.
She
Need to
didn't.
call her.
Sorry for that little technical glitch. Sorry, ma'am. I'll be redoing that. So welcome, Mrs. Kiruba Nagini. Ma'am, I am denied screen sharing. Can you please allow me?
Yes, ma'am. We made co-host. You can share now, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Ma'am, please accept the beautiful floral greetings from our behalf. Okay, a quick view into the deep profile, a rich profile of Kiruba Nagini Garu. Madam has been a trainer, data analyticals representing Miles Education, Hyderabad. Madam is also an academic associate, cost and management accounting from the University of UK. And Madam has been an assistant professor, computer applications management till date, a technical trainer in subjects like C++, Python, and is a freelancer. Madam's deep interest lies in data science, machine learning, R programming, data analyticals, deep learning, MX Excel. And in the fields of professional consultancy, Madam is an expert in upgrade online degree courses, a CSR consultant, and also, I think, a guest profile at IMT Ghaziabad, a visiting faculty. Madam has cleared her UGC NET, pursuing PhD, has done masters in computer applications from Pondicherry University, holds a Bachelor of Business Administration from Tamil Nadu, and is internationally certified NLP Master Practitioner and Training certified by IIPE Canada. This rich profile is supported by various publications and invited expert talks at various platforms. We are much privileged, ma'am, to have you among our midst to share your expertise and particularly taking up this particular topic, metamorphosis of data security. I believe metamorphosis of the data security is like a transformation of the data science that you're talking about, starting from something that is small, a data that we understand in simple sense of statistics and accountancy. You are putting that in a technological word, transforming it for a better analytical tool. So I welcome you, ma'am, to take up on the session. And I think we will be doing this session till 6:45, leaving the last 15 minutes for us to do a brief report and then ending the day with a pleasant vote of thanks. Thank you, ma'am. Please take over the session.
Thank you so much for the beautiful introduction as usual. Ma'am, I was the opening speaker and I think I'm the last speaker too. World is a sphere, right? It starts at one point and it ends with the same point, and it is a proof right now. So starting of one particular technology or any concept that you start to learn, right? You end up with the application of it or the final points of what it is actually. And so you see, we started with the how automation came up, and I told you that all those 4 points like automation, this blockchain, the cryptocurrency, and the data analytics, they are all combined or they are all interlinked with one word, data. And the final thing after the applications that we have dealt with on that particular day, and hope you had all the other topics also related to finance and accounting so far, and the other applications like the other financial regions or the areas, I would say the insurance and investment and all such things. See, this is going to be the crux of what we really have. Okay, so we always say that it is not very difficult to earn something, but to maintain and to protect and to prevent it from any theft or prevent it from being hacked upon or used by others, the malicious users. That is going to be the difficult task for everyone, right? So today's session is going to span around the data security. I think I have the permission to share my screen today.
Yes, ma'am. You can start sharing.
Fine. All right. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am. It is visible. You can carry on your presentation.
Thank you. I think I'll have to go to the presentation mode. All right. So this very word, this metamorphosis, right? We have always come across this word right from our childhood, from our school days. So it is something related to the process in which something is really very small or in its infant stage or in its very incessant stage. It's going to be developed into something which is gorgeous, which is what to say, of a very gigantic nature, and whatever we cannot really perceive or think about or visualize it in the future. So that is how this world of internet, this world of data, the security related to that, and the usage of it related to that, and how people have really grown affiliated to, or how these people have grown their affinity towards this data, and how some set of people have really grown some sort of negative affinity towards the data. So that is where the difference between the data the usage of data, the positive use of data and this negative use of data comes in. Both of them really love data, right? So putting it into the use of either the positive or to the negative side is going to be the problem, right? So always things have their positives and negatives, right? So we are now concerned about the positive use of this data and how are we going to prevent it from the malicious uses, right? Whenever we have something prevalent among us or prevalent among our environment, even the human beings, right? We do not know how, when people really become a negative person or when they really become a person who is opposing something, okay? Even in human body, right? There will be normal cells which turn into malignant cells and they become cancerous. So that is the same case with the data also. So when there is data within the organization, which is going to create some useful effects or when it is going to be very profitable for the institution or the organization which produces it or uses it, it's not going to be a problem for anybody. When there is a little deviation, right? When there is a little deviation in the thought process of any of the people there inside the organization, then or with the thought process of the people who keep on looking into the growth of that particular data within the organization, then comes up this problem of the lack of security, okay, data security. So this is how the nature of the data security has really emerged. So it's like we get a property and we will always be very happy. We will not look into what is wrong there and what are all the loopholes available there. At one particular point of time, when we see that our house can be attacked or that property can be really damaged to a certain extent, and then we start realizing the importance of security that we should really be giving to that particular asset, or we should have thought about it priorly, right? Always I think we have a sense of only the reaction. We have never been proactive in all our thought processes related to this, because when we create something, okay, we never think about the negative things, and we don't know what would be the negative things that would come up. We'll be able to visualize the positive things, but not the negative. So it has always been a what to say, it's always going to be a magic or the black magic, I would say, that this data, we do not know how this gets disappeared or how this gets damaged or how this gets demolished at a certain point of time from the organizations. Okay, so this is how we are looking into data security. So initially, when companies in the early 90s or 80s, when they started automation into their organization, they started using the data, right? They started generating data. So year on year, when we stopped having the physical data within us, we moved on to the digital forms of all these data, right? So all these started along with this, right? So these are, we are going to have a different stages, okay, different stages where we have really seen how this data is getting into different stages, okay, how this data is getting into different stages. So first point, when it was data, okay, I have already told you in the first session that data is going to be a collection of raw facts, that's all. It's like a heap of information heap of raw facts that that is gotten that you have collected before you, or using a software or any platform or using the physical means, okay, so that is going to be the data. So when you have that data getting processed in some form, okay, normally when we have this raw facts, we try to put them into some form so that we create some index, or we create a proper representation of that particular data so that it is understood very easily by others. Then it becomes an information, right? So this data security, which was a heap of the raw data or the raw facts, became information, and now it has become a very tedious process to secure this information that is present in the organization. So then when the organizations expanded their horizons to the other countries, across the boundaries within the country, across the states or the districts, whichever are possible, we say the provinces in other countries, right? So when the boundaries extended, we had to set up what branches here and there, and we need to be connected. So this again brought in certain situations where this connectivity was a very essential thing to be implemented there, and the data started moving hither and thither from this point to the other point, and from that point to the other point. So it was circulating among the nodes or the systems which are there within the organizations across the boundaries. So see, these nodes or these systems which were handling the data there, they become vulnerable, right? They become vulnerable because it's even if a human being is considered, we don't have any security if we step out of our house, right? Maybe like anything may happen. So the same is the thing with the data also. When it is there within the campus, within the premises of the organization, only the insiders would be a dangerous group of people who may share this data for some malicious reason. Or but other than that, the data cannot go out of the organization at all. But here during this network, when it is connected through cables or when it is connected through different the protocols, what we talk about as internet protocol and the TCP/IP, all those things, these data are available on the air. Okay, so it's like it can be tapped by anybody. So that is where the point of cybersecurity came in. So it's all about the data getting transmitted between zeros and ones, right? So that is why we have this name cybersecurity also. So then we had this, we now moved on to this particular word, cloud security, where we did not have to invest much of our money on the resources that we require for our organization, for the business that we are dealing with. And there is some person who is very well rich enough to provide all these things as a service for us. Okay, so that is how we have moved on to this cloud. And when the data was shared between the nodes of the same company through internet, I mean the network which linked all the systems that are present within the organization itself, even then the security was a question, right? So then when we are going to share our space with someone else, okay, when we are going to share our space with someone else, the security, okay, the word security has become a very big question mark, but still we are trying. Okay, the IT people are really trying to give us some sort of real security even in the shared spaces, right? So we have come across one particular point where we are going to share the services, share the resources, share the available space instead of depleting the available huge resource. Okay, so the thought process that has emerged out of the brains of these people to share the unused or the idle resources, okay, the idle resources of one particular company, uh, paved way for this cloud sources. Okay, so you have the space which is getting shared, you have the data which is getting shared, and then you have the algorithms which is getting shared. Okay, you take up one copy of that, you use it, you again store it with store it under your own results. You take up that what is that database, you use it for your own purpose, you again store it in your own database. That is how it goes, right? But the basic format of that particular database, whichever is shared in that source, it does not get altered at all. Okay, it does not get altered. So that is where, how can this original data or original information that we have taken up from that particular cloud could be really damaged, Okay, it could be really damaged, or the original data, how can it be really altered so that it is going to have some different information which may mislead the other person who is going to again download the same database. So that is where the problem arose, right? That is where the problem arose. And again, we have this cloud security in our pipeline right now, right? So what are the avatars of data security? I mean, the types. At what are all the levels really we have the security to be implemented? So these are the avatars that I'm talking about. Okay, so out of these avatars, we are going to have the physical security first of all. So why do I really insist upon this physical security? Is actually, when I was talking the other day, I started with this data storage devices. Like we had the floppies. Okay, I hope we all remember that we had this 1.44 floppy, 1.32 floppy, and we started having a bunch of floppies storing different data. And for a single project, we will be having a collection of floppies, floppy number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it all went in that manner. And so even before that, we had different modes or methods to store data. And then we moved on to the CDs, and then we went on to the pen drives, and we have the external hard drive disks today. And then we moved on to the cloud. So this is the way, or this is the life process of how this data got securely saved somewhere. So okay, so those components, those physical devices, okay, the floppy disks or the CD or the RAMs and ROMs that we are talking about, how did we really save them? How did we really protected them? That was the question right now. Okay, so even when they were available in the physical forms, even when they were available in the physical forms in the CD-ROMs or re-rateable disks, DVDs, flash drive, and anything that you name, right? These can be really destroyed. So that was the primary concern about the security of the data. So if I'm going to have a CD-ROM, if I can just break it off and throw it away, then the data is lost, right? So the physical component where it is stored can be subjected to any sort of assault. So that is where the physical security of this data came into the first or the primary concern of any organization. Okay, and any power fluctuations within the organization can boost up some sort of spark into the system, and the entire system may burst. There were many incidents where we had all these hard drives crashing because of such sort of electrical signals, misplaced electrical signals. So that was also one incident, right, where we had the organizations believing that their data will be secure physically on that very particular day, right? Then we had moved to this digital security process, right? We have this digital security process where we are having the data in the digital format, right? Digital format. Sometimes we talk about them as encrypted data, right? We also talk about them as non-encrypted data. So these two formats, both the encrypted and the non-encrypted data, which are present in the digital formats. See, it's very easy to change them actually. You change 1 0 into 1 and 1 into another 0, the entire data is going to change, right? So that is how the digital security was also a problem. All right, it was also a problem when you have the bad sectors within the physical devices. The data goes haphazard, right? You cannot retrieve or you cannot share the information which is present there, but you cannot retrieve it and use it for your business. So it's like we have all seen this records, right, where we record the songs, and somewhere if it is broken or if there is a scratch, it keeps on singing the same word or the same line, right? So that is the problem with the data also. When there is a bad sector, you cannot pass through that particular sector, and the data beyond that cannot be read. So it creates a boundary for itself to be used. So that is where the security for the data in case of the digital format also arose. Okay, not only the physical one, but the digital one also. And then we are really facing this operational security. What is that operational security is? Very simple example. When you go to a ATM center, okay, you will have the display saying that close the type pad with your arms or hands and then type the key. And this is the operational security that we are talking about at the very operational way. Okay, so it is a very what do you say, sensitive data. It is very much relevant to only one person. It's very we call it as a data privacy. Okay, data privacy. I set something as a pin for my ATM card, and that is where I execute my privacy towards my data. And when there is an opportunity of that privacy to be exposed to someone else, then there comes this operational security issue. Okay, and we have also known many stories related to how people have stuck the what do you call, the cellophane paper sort of things, where the fingerprints of people get mm, recorded on that particular paper, or when we are using the screens, touch screen, how this data gets vulnerable to the other people. Okay, and then we have systems where they record the pin numbers with the movement of the hands, of the fingers. Okay, so that is also there. Operational security of data is really hectic. Okay, and due to that we started having this OTPs. Okay, one time passwords. And what happened now, we have people who are very clever to get the OTPs from the people themselves and then use it for hacking their own account. So that is how it goes. Operational security has become a very big challenge to all the people right now. And wherever the business is related to finance and banking, okay, finance and insurance, anything related to finance, that has become a very great challenge for all these people who are dealing with those businesses. So operational security has become one great challenge. Okay, one great challenge among all the others for these people to handle. And then we have the administrative security. So when we talk about this administrative security, I'll have to tell you something related to DBMS. We have someone who is called as an administrator, database administrator, right? So when it was at a very small level within the organization, say for example, I had only some GBs of data which I deal with only within the organization, only within my branch in a local manner, then it is under the control of that particular database administrator. Anything you ask or anything you feel insecure, anything that you feel it is hampered or hacked out, you can just go about asking the particular person that this is not working well, this is there is some problem with this, can you please fix? And they were right there to fix it. Okay, but when we have another campus, when we have another premises really attached through this internets and intranets, then we have this administrative security as also a challenge for these organizations to really handle. All right, so then this is the definition or the explanation of what a data security is. See, we have the security of data generated by the application. So how does the organization really go for generating data? What is the data actually an organization talking about? Okay, so they have lots and lots of applications where they generate data. Okay, they receive as an input into that particular application. So say for example, for a bank, KYC format, right? You have a format for the KYC. You get the information as an input from the customer. So this is going to be the data which is coming into the organization, right? So there you have some particular application which is going to ask the person to input all those information, and then it is again getting stored into the place, wherever it is a cloud or it may be a server, whatever it is, right? So these are the applications which are going to be the front end for receiving all this information from the customers, right? Which receive. So that is why I have put that particular word, the applications which really receive and then generate. Okay, generate information. So how do they really generate information? For say for example, you club all people who are getting a salary till 5 lakh rupees per annum, then have a group of people having somewhere around 5 lakh and 1 to 10 lakh per annum. Okay, grouping of people. You generate some information just for the use of the bank. Okay, just for the understanding of the bank. Okay, the operations of the bank, how is it really going on, right? So it generates information. Then it goes for processing it. So it generates, it creates some processes which are going to act on those data, and then we'll be going on to the next stage as an output, as a product. Okay, so this data is going to be an output and it is considered as a product. So what is the final result anywhere in any process, in any job? That is going to be the product of that particular job, isn't it? So that is why we consider this data. Okay, this data which has been received, generated and processed by one particular organization using some application, right? An organization may have n number of applications. That is where we should understand how this data becomes so voluminous, all right, and why people restrict themselves to the certain boundaries of those data to operate upon. Okay, so that is becoming an output right now, all right. So the next point is going to be the information security. So after processing these data, it is used for some decision making process. Say for example, how can this information related to one particular company be hacked and be used by other people? Very simple. If you say that you have a profit of some 5 crore rupees that on that particular day or that particular year, okay, annual profit of 5 crore rupees. Now what is this company going to do with this 5 crore rupees? You have a annual general meeting where you go for discussing what to do with this profit. Are we going for another branch? Are we going to invest somewhere? Or are we going to give it as a profit for all the profit as a dividend to all the stakeholders? So all these information related to one particular company, which are really dealt in a very private manner for some sort of decision making purposes, may get hacked. Okay, very simple. The minutes of meeting of one particular annual general meeting, if it is available for someone else, even before it is getting established somewhere in the organization's website or in a very proper manner where it has to be established, then it becomes a hack. Okay, so people can really go in for changing all these things. A very simple example I wanted to say how this data can be changed and how this can really bring some impact into the processes that any organization can work with. Okay, so it's a very simple example. It's a business deal. Okay, it's about me. I went to a shop and I was shopping for certain products, and I purchased for 1,200 rupees. Okay, the bill was only 1,200 rupees. What happened was this guy who used that payment machine, right? The payment gateway machine. He added one more zero. Okay, 1,200 became 12,000. Now, what is this sort of hacking called? It may be purposeless. Okay, it may be sheer what mistake on the person, on the part of the person who has really put in that additional zero into it. But what is that process, or what is the transaction going to have as an impact on that particular business? That becomes the question mark now. So in case I have to pay 1,200, and if 12,000 has to be if it is debited from my account, what happens is an amount of 10,800, okay, it has to be returned to me. All right, returned to me. And how is this format going to be in? I have paid them in a digital format. Are they going to return me in the same digital format? If at all, if it is going to be returned to me in a digital format, there will be some auditing process. They will question why a single person has been given 10,800 without any business transactions, isn't it? So they cannot say that this was a mistake on the part of the salesperson who has done this. So this creates a decision making. Very simple incident. Okay, very simple incident where the financial transactions have to be really dealt with so much care, and you have to do it very meticulously, because one more zero will become 1,20,000, isn't it? So that will again create so many problems within the organization. So these are certain situations where the information, I know that it is going to be 1200, where did the misunderstanding come? Where did the hacking information come? So, okay, so that is where people really try to what oversee all these sort of mistakes that can be done on the data, and how these people can really misuse that particular data. Okay, so luckily we understood that he did it without any purpose, and it was a mistake, and it was taken up again. Okay, they paid me the money back, but what happened, what would have happened if he didn't realize that? And I after some few days, when I go back again to my bank account and find out that so much amount is missing. Okay, I can't go back and find out where I really missed it. Okay, it may take some time, but then I have to prove that I only paid that 12,000 to them. So there are a lot of commotions there. So where can this data be really a leak? Okay, the processed data can really be leak. So that really forms a question mark on the decision making processes of the organization. All right, then we move about this cyber security. This the entire organization, which has branches here and thither. Okay, and then the data moving from these systems within one branch to the systems in the other branch, these are going to face some sort of technical backgrounds and environments under which they are going to really function, right? So the security of the information prevailing and being circulated on the internets and the internets. So I have to be very clear on these two words. The internet is going to be the internet which connects all over the world, what we call as the World Wide Web. Okay, and then this internet with a small I. Okay, it is going to be the network which tells you that the internetworking between the or among the systems which are available among the places which are near. Okay, say for example, within a district, if you have different groups of companies which are getting tied together by some other authority, okay, then it becomes an internet, right? Internet is internetworking of the computers, not globally, but very locally. Okay, and then we have this extranet. What is this extranet is? When you have one particular organization connected through one particular protocol, and then you have another organization, it is collected through another one protocol, and when you have an interlink between these two networks, right, the network number one and the network number two, which may be completely different, okay, in its protocols, in the number of nodes, in the operating systems that they are using, everything. Okay, so these networks are going to be interlinked using some other software. There we call them as the middleware. Okay, where we have the server and the client, all such sort of things, right? So I'm getting too technical into it, so I'm stopping with this. So across the extranet, so when we have two different networks which are linked together using another one platform, this network one becomes an extranet to this network number two, and this network number two becomes an extranet to network number one. So that is how we call it as. So if we have the networks connected for the same company, okay, we call it as an intranet. When the internetworks of different companies are getting connected through one particular connectivity, then it becomes an extranet. Okay, so that is the difference between it. So even within the same company, the security is not going to be an issue. So if the head office sends some mail or data or information to the branch, and if it is received there and back and forth, the data moves here and there, then we will not be having any fuzz in that. But when a different company, okay, company number two comes and communicates with the company number one, okay, the internet working platform of the company number one, then what happens is the protocols may be different, the operating system may be different, the method in which they send the email may be different, and there has to be a handshake between the two communication networks. So all these things come into this part of this umbrella term, this cybersecurity. Okay, so I have to keep intact the security of network number one. I have to keep intact the security of network number two, and the third one, the middleware also. So all these three must not attack each other. So that is the problem there. Okay, this one must not attack the middleware, this two must not attack the middleware, and it's a three-way round, isn't it? So one another must not be vulnerable to the attack of the other. So that is the problem with the cybersecurity right now. So with the prevalence of all this internets, intranets, extranets, and all the middleware coming in, different distributed servers here and there. Okay, so all these things have really contributed to this particular word, cybersecurity. Okay, so that's how it has become a very prominent term that everybody talks about the cybersecurity. Because again, the next point that we have to talk about in this one is the privacy, data privacy, as we have spoken in the other two types also. Here also again we have the privacy. So what is that privacy? Again, we have the organization, its own network, and then we have a firewall, we have the passwords, we have the permissions, we have the access denials. Okay, so all these information together form the data of one particular organization. See, think about if you are given the password of the account or the bank account of someone, a very let's take Ratan Tata. Okay, the bank account of Ratan Tata, if you are able to hack it, what will be the situation? Right, so that is how it is. You can do it. Okay, there are plenty of methods to hack the data of anybody in this world. So that is how it goes, and why that is why the cyber security is a great threat to every organization, not only the individuals who are having accounts in these organizations, but the entire organization, the entire business world which is handling such a business. Okay, particularly related to finance. All right, and then we come to our what is that, the king of today's security session, the cloud security. Okay, with the onset of all this artificial intelligence, the necessity of moving data into a shared platform, and I think with this with the concept of having the startups in our entire financial, I mean, our digital economy, it is that particular place where we came to this cloud security. Before that, we had all these businesses having all sort of resources really funded by the same persons who found that particular business, isn't it? So they were the investors, they were the administrators and founders, whatever name you have. They invested their money on all those resources and they had it. But in case, what if I don't have so much money? What if I don't want to invest so much on that particular resource? What if it is available plenty somewhere else? I can share it so that, and I can pay them some rent, okay, as a service from them. What if I can avail that as a service from them? So that was the thought which gave rise to this particular word called as cloud. Okay, I don't think there is any connectivity between these two words, cloud and because we don't have anything related to sharing the space or being resourceful. Okay, when this word cloud is there, we don't have any connectivity. And somewhere they have coined this term cloud computing, and the word, the cloud storage, okay, cloud resources, cloud services, all these things came up. Okay, so maybe like whoever is requesting or whoever is requiring such a service, they all come under a same platform. Okay, like all the people who are afraid of the torrential rain that is pouring down somewhere else, they come under one particular protector or secure place, and that becomes a umbrella for them. And looking upon that, when there is no rain, they see it as the empty cloud, right? So somewhere or the other, they might have thought very spiritually, I think, that this particular word cloud has been really picked up for the services or the resources that we are really using during our startups, right? So the companies have become very proactive in taking measures during their shift from the server-based operations to their cloud-based data platforms. So what are those proactive measures that that is what we have to think about, right? So initially, when we have to shift from one particular platform to a cloud, what are all the advantages it really gives? Okay, so the cloud platforms, obviously, they are less expensive. Okay, less expensive, which is always the motto of any business, right? The reduction of the cost at any cost. Reduction of cost at any cost, very rhyming, right? So the cloud-based data platforms really gave them lots of space. Okay, they started renting out these places and they shifted all this information to the clouds. And you see, the really the pioneers, they were really benefited out of it, because earlier when this cloud became the buzzword during the introduction of these cloud platforms, people had a reluctance. Okay, they did not want to move to this cloud, and they were all questioning about the security, as we are talking right now. So based upon that particular single question, they were not ready to really move. Okay, so the security issues in the cloud are really overlooked. But why was that doubt, or why was that restraint in people really prevailed? Okay, the same thing, when I had my data in my own premises, it was not safe. How can I really go and keep it in somewhere, in some space where it is really open and accessible to everyone? And can I say sleep that night, say, thinking that my data is safe? Okay, so that was the problem with everybody. And then they slowly started understanding, okay, understanding that these algorithms are designed in a way that another person cannot really open. It's like a locker in the bank. You have a key, and the server has a key, and you have to give your key, and then that person also has to use the key. Only when these two keys are compatible with each other, the locker opens, isn't it? Same is the case with this cloud also. So the server will be having, I mean, the service provider will be having a key, and you will be having a key. Both has to operate. Only then you can go for using that particular cloud service. So somehow people started understanding the future of this cloud computing, and how it is somewhat secure. Okay, somewhat secure in its operations. And then and most of the people who cannot afford for a expensive server, they didn't have any other choice. Okay, so they moved on to cloud. All right. So this is a bit of a statistic which I have come across in this X-Force Threat Intelligence Index. See, 40% increase was there in the Linux malware families. So from the year 19 to 2020, see, during the pandemic, okay, most of the people who did not have any job, or did not have anything constructive to do, they started developing this malware because they had to earn some money, and the only thing they started doing was to hack some server. This bank server is hacked, that bank server is hacked, this ATM is hacked, everywhere. So you can see all these malware functioning around the network, and the information is getting lost, the money is getting lost. All these things happened only after this 2019. Okay, so very great rise. Before that, it was only some 20 to 25%. So 2019 to 2020, when people did not have any means to live, okay, they started doing this malware functioning. And there are certain stages where these people are really developing such sort of malwares. So first of all, malware is one particular program, what we call as virus in a whole term, right? That is what we call as a malware. And see, people, there are architects, okay, the data architects, the coding specialists. These people are called the hackers, and they develop programs which hack into certain server, and it will steal data, and it steals the information about certain people. And somewhere around lakhs and crores and millions of money was lost in all these sort of things. Okay, and these are one group of people who can develop those codes, develop those malware. And there are people who are sponsors for those development. I have money, but I don't know the technology. I'll give you money, you develop that malware, and you sneak it into some what network, let it get into the network of any bank, get some money out of it. I'll take this much percentage, you take this much percentage, everything is fine. So that was the place, okay, that was the place where we found this 40% increase in the Linux malware families raise. So in fact, the growth has become 500% from 2010 to 2020. Okay, within a decade, it has grown 500%. So there was some sort of recession in 2008, isn't it? 2008, and in 2010, till 2010, it was there in the other countries, but we didn't really spelt that particular recession in our country because we had the savings and all such things in with our families, and so it did not affect us too much. But we have 2008 and 2010 recession as a very great case study for all these finance people, right? So 2010 to 2020, you see all the economic situations prevailing all over the globe has taken a very deep thrust into it, right? So that is where we see that the malware growth has really raised by 500%. Okay, so now one important information related to how the security can be developed was the zero trust policy. Okay, now you keep on trusting someone. Okay, every time the trust breaks, and at a particular point of time, what will we do? We stop trusting that particular person, right? Same thing happens here. You keep on trusting someone, some software, some bank, some account, some system, but you will not, with no restrictions in you to believe that particular software, right? You will 100% believe in that particular antivirus software. Oh, my system will become very secure. No virus will get into my system. No Trojan will get into my system. My files will be very safe. You will be trusting the entire software in such a manner. What will happen after some 2 to 3 years when you try to use one particular website? Something will enter. You will not know. Already your system would have got infected with that, but we will not know. Okay, so that is where the concept of zero trust policy came in. Okay, you don't believe any website, you don't believe any digital transaction. Be aware that anything which is going digital is going to be vulnerable, okay, for ready to be hacked by any people. So that is where the zero trust philosophy has emerged right now with all the organizations who are following this cloud security. So here you can see that the threat actors, okay, threat actors mean that the people who are ready to do this or ready to manufacture or ready to code, okay, code the malware. So these people are the threat actors. They are the source of that particular threat to the organization. So it is not going to be that software actually. We need to have that particular understanding. See, it is not the software that is going to affect. It is the mindset of that particular person which is really going to affect the business. So only when the threat actor decides that he has to go for creating a malware and implement it there in the organization, then it comes to a stage. Okay, then it comes out as a product, and he funds it and it gets it right. So ITG 17, which is called as the muddy water, it was also there in the scene, and then the cyber criminal group ITG 2 was there. Okay, and then ITG 23 Trickbot was there, Hive 0109, which was renamed as Lemon Duck for the people to it's a code word. Okay, so these were the threat groups this IBM has really found out. So this is the report. I have taken this information from the report of IBM. You can also go through this report which was generated this year and see how this is going upon, right? And see, this is going to be the next point is going to be the geographic trends in the cyber attack. So we have different countries and the continents involved in this cyber attack, right? So everywhere it is all about the vulnerability management, right? How the systems are secure. We have to understand these systems are not actually secure. All right, there is a point of vulnerability. Even when we have systems in our own colleges, right? When the I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm not indicating anybody. So, say, for example, if there is a lecturer or assistant professor there, or even a data entry operator there, if the dean wants to come and open the login of one particular assistant professor and take up the information whichever is there present, okay, probably we will be having the mark list of certain students, group of students. I've come across these things when I was teaching. Okay, so that's why I'm telling you. It's a very simple example which is understood, which can be understood all by all of us. So that is how we attack. Okay, this is also a cyber attack. So here mm, we enter into the personal region of a certain person. Okay, that person may be an individual, or that entity may be one bank, or that entity may be a country. All right. So depends upon the area in which we are really having this hack. So here you can see the geographic trends where we have this sort of hacking actually. We have this Asia, which is vulnerable to a percentage of 26 to 25 percentage. Okay, in 2020 it was 25 percentage. In 2021 it has become 26 percentage. There is an increase. And then you see in Latin America also there is an increase. In Middle East and Africa also there is an increase. But in case you watch this North America and Europe, okay, when you see this North America and this Europe, we see there is a fall. Okay, why is this? Is the business has become very dull in these two continents. In these 2 years, 2020 and 2021, after the pandemic, we had this Trump going away from his what is that position, and then other people coming in, and we found a change in UK also, and we had this Brexit and all such things happening in the, somewhere around this 2019 and 2020 and 2021, isn't it? So all these caused the businesses in these two continents to be very sluggish. Okay, so there was no point in attacking at all. So that is why it has become somewhat less. But here you see Asia, Middle East, and Africa, and in Latin America it has increased. Like in Latin America, you see 9 to 13%. Okay, very huge development it is. And here 9 to 14%. The Middle East and Africa, they were not completely vulnerable to all these what pandemic. So that is why the businesses there somewhat it flourished. They closed their nation, they closed everything, but still people were there to spend. Okay, they had that capability of spending. That is why they were susceptible to the cyber attacks also. But these two countries, as we all know, they earn, they spend. That's all. That's no point of saving anything, and so there is no point in attacking that particular businesses also. So that is where this Asia, Middle East, and Africa, and then the Latin America, the trends have become higher. Okay, the attacks that we can see in these countries have become higher, where it was actually higher. Okay, it became low in the 2 years, 2020 and 2021, according to the reports of 2022. We have these things. Okay, so the top attack types in 2021, what were the top attack types? All right, these data we see that they get attacked. So what is this? What are those types of attacks? So first one is the ransomware. So where we have all the digital threats put together, and it is formed as a software, and it is called as a ransomware, right? So that is 21 and 23%. See, in 2020 it was 23%, and now in 2021 it reduced to 21%. So there is a decrease again. Throughout the world, they were using this ransomware, but due to the business situations which were not really supportive to the people, what are they going to really steal from that, isn't it? So when there is no change in the amount that any person is going to have in his bank account, what is the problem? Okay, there is no necessity of hacking that information at all. So that is where the necessity really reduced. Okay, then we have the server access. Server access, why did these people really hack us? We had all these resources which we had for the defense all throughout the countries. Okay, they were channelized towards this healthcare. Most of the countries which had a very huge budget for all these defense activities, they diverted their funds to healthcare, because having people alive was a problem in many countries, and people were see, all the associations were questioning the other countries, and this became a very great problem, isn't it? So the server access became one another point where people started accessing the servers of the great lot organizations, because they wanted to complain directly. They did not want to go through a protocol. Okay, so that is where they attempted to crash the servers, or to take up the information from the server and then contact them directly. And then the third one is the BEC. So business email compromise. So BEC is business email compromises. So business email compromises, you see it has come down by 1%. So normally when the emails are sent to people, general public, okay, we do not know that these emails are just shot to us as a marketing technique. That is what we know. But these emails may contain harmful, what is that, programs, what we call as the Trojans, or very predominantly known as virus. Okay, these virus programs will be embedded within that particular message. So even if you open some emails, it gives you a warning, right? So this is a message from an unknown person. Really, do you want to open this? Or this is not protected, and this is not protected by Gmail, and some sort of information comes up. So this business email compromise has happened, and this has also paved a way of at least seen some 8 to 9% of the data theft are among the businesses happening around. So then we have this exact data theft. Okay, it was 13% and it has come down to 8%, because there are no much more organizations which are dealing with the data right now, because businesses are not happening. So there's no increase in data, voluminous data. So that is where the data theft has also reduced. All right, then the credential harvesting. Credentials harvesting is you take up my name and my password, give it to someone else. Okay, so people start collecting all these emails and their passwords, and they hand it over to another person as a on the model of a business. Okay, so we have sellers who collect some 5 lakh emails, who collect some 10 lakh emails, and then they sell it for certain amount. Okay, so those people who really take up email marketing as one of the predominant methodology of their marketing techniques, they always go for this credentials, right? So credential harvesting, it is one great business that is prevailing, because once you scrape this information from one particular server, you can use the same information to send the same information to any number of people, right? So that is why it is called as the harvesting. See the names, credential harvesting. Then you have this rat. What is this rat? Is remote access Trojan. Okay, I hope you all know this epic, what is that, ODC, right? Where we have this Trojan war. I hope you all know the method in which they really fought that particular war. There was a very big wooden horse into which the soldiers were kept inside, and then they locked them inside. And when the what is that, a horse came into the city, it was opened, and then all the soldiers came out and they destroyed that particular city, isn't it? So that is how the war technology was what is that, followed, right? They followed that particular technique. And you see this Trojan, okay, the same technique is really followed by this virus program writers right now. So how do they do it? Is they have one program, okay, one program or one set of data, or take an email, okay, they embed those codings into that email, or they embed that particular coding, Trojan coding, into that software. So when we people download that particular software, or when we people open that email, what happens? this program, okay, this malicious code really crawls into all the other prevailing folders within that particular system. So anybody's system you take up, it will be infected with some trojans or worms. Okay, so they creep into the folders and then grab the data. Now, you could have seen that one particular file with one name will be present all over the folders, whichever is present in your system. Okay, so these are the Trojans. You don't know when that particular folder will be opened. Once you open the folder, this Trojan will go and sit there. Okay, that is how the virus really gets penetrated into your system. Okay, so that is what we call it as a Trojan. Now, remote access Trojan. Okay, once your system is infected with the Trojan, this system, this information in the system is controlled by someone who has really released the Trojan. Okay, my system is no more under my control. It is being accessed. It is being monitored by the person who has really released the Trojan into my system. So it happens like that. So one person who creates the Trojan puts it into one particular email. He passes that email to this person. This email may be forwarded to another person. So he will be primarily linked to only one particular circle. These people who have received the email, opened it and read it, will pass that Trojan to the next circle of people. So it is like our multi-level marketing. Okay, you do only for one level, the rest will follow. Okay, so that is the methodology with which this remote access Trojan also works. So this is one very great technique that people are really following. Okay, then the misconfiguration. When you have this misconfiguration, you will have people having all their information misplaced somewhere. You will not know why this got misplaced. You would have kept it in one folder, but that will be present in another folder. So it gets misconfigured with the systems. Then malicious insider, when we have the malicious insiders with the intentions to really sell the data of that particular company, all right, to earn profit out of the secret information of that particular company, they are called the insiders, right? So these malicious insiders are one particular source for giving this type of attacks. Then the others, you see, that is going to be the great percentage. You can see that is the very great percentage that is available here, around 27%. What does that mean actually? So all the others are very less, isn't it? Compared to ransomware, the others are very comparatively very low. Only single digits are there. But you see this ransomware and the others, you see, it is really more than the ransomware itself. So why is this? Because people are coming with different ideas. So you cannot put that under one category. Okay, whoever gets an access to a system, a network, okay, they are ready to hack something and get something. Okay, so that is where we have been having the news of the servers of this country got hacked, that country got hacked, and the information is available somewhere out. All these things are happening. Okay, so these are the top attack types that we have. So what are all the industries that are getting really infected with these sort of what is this data threats, right? So in the manufacturing industry, that is going to be the topmost one. Okay, with the 23.2% of the data of the manufacturing industry being what ransacked or stolen off or damaged, whatever it is. Okay, then finance and insurance, it occupies the second place, 22.4%. Professional and business services, 12.7, almost half. Okay, then energy, 8.2. See, energy, it is, we are all talking about green energy, and so there are many organizations which are coming up with different products related to this energy consumption. And so that is also getting ransacked right now. Retail and wholesale, it is 87.3. Okay, everywhere you talk about Amazon, you talk about Flipkart, you talk about Myntra, okay, you talk about Walmart, retail and wholesale, you have lots and lots of information. You just get into Walmart one particular day, you will become a customer, you will keep on getting the information from them every now and then, isn't it? Throughout your lifetime, you cannot stop it at all. So your information is getting used by that particular organization. And nowadays, you know, after this Google has got bumped up with the information issues. Everybody has come up with a clause in their agreement itself that this information, your personal information, will be used by the company for promotional activities, its own promotional activities. Say for example, if I give my data to one particular bank, it will take up my data and will keep on passing on me the information related to the new products. And if at all I haven't purchased any of its products, it will keep on pouring me all the messages related to all those products. So that is how the information has become so vulnerable, right? Healthcare, the next one is healthcare, 5.1 percentage. You could have all come across different calls from different hospitals that we have a package where you can go for a full body checkup. You have this lipid profile, that profile, this profile. You can check up all these things only for a certain price, 2,400 rupees, ma'am. For you, we are giving a discount of 30%. So it is enough that if you pay 1,800 rupees, so you can undergo all these tests. So that is where you would have never even stepped into that particular hospital. Okay, but they will have your data. So that is where the healthcare information has also become one predominant asset these companies are looking at as a data. Okay, data assets. And we have this transportation where this companies, airlines are really targeting all its customers with lots and lots of discounts they have. Media next is, so you have all the social media platforms flocking in with all the advertisements. Of late, we have WhatsApp flocking with all sort of advertisements. You have already YouTube, it has so many advertisements. If not, you don't want these advertisements, then go for paying. Okay, become a subscriber. So that is how all these industries are getting affected and infected with all these data threats and thefts. All right. So this is some data about the different countries where we had the data breach. So in Asia, you can see that the finance and insurance, that is the topmost industry which has been hacked by the organizations. Okay, the malicious companies. All right. So that is 30%, manufacturing is 29%, and professional and business services it is 13%. So these are the in Asia, we have seen in the earlier slides also, it has been growing up even during the pandemic. So that is why we can see that it has been very vulnerable to all these attacks. Right. Then we have the Africa. Okay, Africa also, we saw this Asia, Africa, and Latin America. These three companies were, these three countries and continents, they were susceptible, highly susceptible to this particular data threat, right? So here also you can see the finance and insurance, which was hacked for 48%. Okay, their transactions were ransacked, and then healthcare 15% and energy 10%. And then you have Europe. So in Europe also you see that manufacturing is the highly infected one. Finance and insurance is 18%, again infected. Professional and business services, it's again infected by 15%. So all these countries or the continents that we are seeing right now are having these manufacturing or this finance and insurance companies which are very vulnerable to these data because you have lots and lots of customer base there. Okay, so that is the prominent reason. And then see in North America, retail and wholesale. This did not come in the other countries or the continents that we have seen so far. But here you see the retail and wholesale is coming in because you know the consumerism, the concept of consumerism is much more in North America than the other countries. So other than the finance and insurance businesses, this retail and wholesale businesses are becoming the victims of this data theft and the data breach. Right. Then we have a few recommendations. Okay, we have a few recommendations for the risk mitigation. So how can we really go for reducing the risk which the data of the particular company holds and processes and really do business with? Okay. First one is the zero trust. which I have mentioned already. This is going to be the philosophy under which the companies have to really revolve around hereafter, because it is not going to be safe at all. Once you enter into the digital platform, the data is not going to be safe at all. So therefore, this is a very great paradigm shift happening in the security arena, right? The data are not going to be handled with one particular software or one particular organization. They are going to be multi-layered. It is going to be multi-layered. Okay, so I will have different levels of security entering into my particular company for the security reasons. The critical area where the data resides. So this is one particular thing that we have to think about. See, where is that data actually residing? In case of distributed database management system, okay, distributed database management system, it is similar to the distributed ledger that we saw in the blockchain, okay. So actually distributed ledger works on the principle of distributed database management system, all right. So when you have a distributed management DBMS, this distributed DBMS will have a technique of shifting the information from one node to the another. Nobody will know at what point of time what data will be existing there in that particular system. Okay, so now what happens if you are trying to hack the information of one particular company which is residing in one particular server? It is not at all possible. So the critical area where the data resides is getting on changed. Okay, it's getting on changed. Once it will be in the server number 1, once it may be shifted to server number 7. We don't know at which part of the world it is getting stored at right now. Okay, let us talk about a very simple example, my Gmail ID. Okay, when I talk about my Gmail ID, I would have created my account in one particular server, okay, which is located at, say, for example, America, right? That server would have created my account, not the server in India. The server in India would have served someone else, okay, who was there globally present. So that is the pattern in which we are really having the data getting transacted. Okay, so I will not know in which system my account is residing right now. My email account is residing right now. All right, so it becomes a bit difficult for the person who wants to pick up the data of a particular person, okay, a very specific entity. That becomes difficult. In case if it is not there, he starts hacking all the servers, okay, from out of which at last they may find out the information. But that is not possible. Once one server is hacked, people become very aware that the server is hacked and they stop the transaction with the other servers also. So that it is very impossible that the other distributed servers which may be having the data is accessible to the intruder. Okay, so that is where the critical area where the data resides becomes a very important point for the risk mitigation. Okay, then the access management. Access management is who is given the access, okay, who is eligible to access that particular data, who is eligible to open that particular account. That is what is access management. See, all of us would have had this two-step checking right now in Google, isn't it? Every day you open up your Google and then it will ask for two-step verification. Initially, I was handling this two-step verification. And you need to check once with the email ID, once with your mobile. Both of them have to be connected, and you get a password or a number in which you have to touch it and then give access. All these things were happening, right? The access management, who is really accessing your account, from which system, from which equipment. Okay, is it a laptop, is it a desktop, is it a mobile, is it a what is that, any palm tops sort of things. Okay, so that also is really entered into that log. So when you have those logs, you might have a list of all those logs. At what time, from which system did you log in into that particular account? They have a log. So that is called as the access management. Is it that really your mobile? Is it that really your laptop which is accessing this account? All right. Then the robust verification measures. So very robust the verification measures are right now. Either you give the what is that? We call them as the picture verification, the image verification called the CAPTCHAs, right? So you have to enter the letters or the numbers or the pictures you have to select. Okay, then we have this two-way verification. So you keep on growing different methods to find out in which manner the system is going to be or the account is going to be kept very safe, protected out of the malicious users' hands. Okay, so this is the zero trust. Then we have this enhanced incident response through security automation. You automate the security. So that is what Google has done now with all our accounts. Security automation. So once when you open this account in some other equipment, okay, when you open your email in some other equipment, immediately the mail shoots up. Is this you? Okay, even earlier when those messages were received, we did not even respond to those messages. Yes, it was me, or it is not me. Please raise the concern, security concern. It gives us those messages, but we didn't bother about that. But you know, when things got intense, okay, they made it compulsory, they made it mandatory. You enter into this, you go for this verification, only then I will open my account. Okay, it may be your account, but it is with me right now, so you have to undergo the security automation processes. Okay, so that is the process of what is called as the incident response. Okay, you enter your own account with your own equipment, then the response is recorded as a positive response. You enter your own account with some other equipment, this incident is going to be responded with some other method. Okay, so there is a difference. What if other person, okay, any other person who is going to open my account with or without my knowledge is going to use that account? So then it becomes another incident response. So there are combinations, myself with my account, myself with other equipment, myself with others with my account, and others with other equipments. Okay, so all these combinations are possible for this incident response, right? Then identifying and eradicating the threat actor. So that is the first thing. Even I am seen as a threat actor for my own account if I am logging in from different equipment. Okay, so that is how the security automation works. So resolving issues to prevent the next incident, what does it do? It takes up your email ID, it takes up your phone number, and then it shoots a message or it shoots a email to your account asking whether it is you or not. So this is the resolving technique for solving the next incident, all right, or preventing the hack during as the next incident. Then you have this identifying the speedy workflow mechanisms. What is that speedy workflow mechanism is? It is all about the speed in which the system has to be prevented from all these attacks. Okay, in case a malicious attacker is trying to hack into my account, okay, the system must be very speedy enough to understand that the user is not me. Okay, it is an intruder. So in case if it is a personal account, it's okay. Okay, fine. If it is going to be an organizational account, what happens then? If it is going to be the account of the RBI that we have, what is the point? Okay, so what is that speed in which these workflow mechanisms are really working with? That is the required thing. If it is, then we'll be going for setting up the priorities. At what speed is this has to be really dealt with? All right, so wherever you have the stocks and shares, wherever you have this money transactions, foreign exchanges, all these things happening up, it is very essential that the workflow mechanism, which is acting as an automated one at the back end, has to be very speedy. Okay, so the instant my account is hacked by, is tried to be hacked by one particular person, I must be notified, so that I say, so this is not my, I'm not using my account right now. So Google will take care of the security purpose next. Okay, so if the network is very slow, if the mechanism is very slow, that person will keep on trying to open my account at one particular point of time. He may even open up. Okay, he may even open my account and start accessing it. And later at a particular point of time, if I am getting a message, see your account is opened by someone someone is trying to open your account, then what's the purpose, right? It is not solved. So it is the speed under which all these workflow mechanisms are really working, and so that these all these incidents are really responded in a positive or a negative manner, right? So the next thing is going to be the very important thing in data security. How are the companies going to plan for their data security? So this is what I would say would be the crux of this presentation, right? So they have to follow 4 different things, all right? 4 different things for a plan towards their data security. So they have to develop a response plan for their ransomware. So ransomware, I told you, it is going to be the malware. It's a collection of all the malwares which are acting upon the system or the internet network or the data alone or the entire organization's properties, anything related to this software. Okay, so there must be a response plan. Say, as I have told you right now, Google account is one particular umbrella term. I have an email, I have what to say, I may have this Google Analytics page, and I may be using Google Chrome. Okay, I will have all the, you have something, have you heard of something called as AdSense? Okay, it is a, it is a business model of Google. So where you go for posting the advertisement of different companies into the different websites of people, and you earn money. And Google also earns money out of that. So you have one account which you can use for different things. And nowadays, you see, using this Google account, you can log into anything. Okay, let it be any education software platform like Edureka, you go, you take, or Coursera, you take. You can log in with the Google, isn't it? Or you take up any university platforms. You can go for logging into any university platforms for the first time using this Google ID, Google account, and then any payment gateways. I don't know how these people are really very confident enough in using this Google account for payment through any other platforms. If it is Google Play, I'm sorry, Google, excuse me, if it is Google Pay, when the payment gateways are really connected to Google Pay, we see that as somewhat a secure platform to pay, isn't it? But how come these people can go for using this Google account for paying something on different platforms? I don't understand. There is a lacuna there, okay, data security lacuna there, which Google has to take care of them. So isn't it? So what is that response plan for this ransomware? How is your system going to react to such sort of request from any ransomware? So that is going to be the first point. So immediate containment plans. So containment plan is how are you going to tackle it? So that is the containment plan. Info to stakeholders and law enforcement officials immediately. If I say I am not the person who is using the account right now, someone is trying to hack it right now, then the message has to be sent to all the people, isn't it, who are all concerned with the protection of that particular account. So information to stakeholders and law enforcement officials must be done. Then scenarios of data theft and attacks. So what are all the possible scenarios of data theft and attack that must be really enlisted? So this is where this data may be taken up, or this information can be attacked and retrieved by some other people. That can be a scenario. Okay, then contingency for cloud related incidents. So even when people are using their own servers, the security becomes the question mark. In case if it is a cloud related incident, how is this platform going to respond to it? How is that company going to see that as a threat to its data? Okay, so that is where it has to really go for finding out a contingency plan for its own cloud related incidents. Then time and money lost in the process. Obviously, all the what is that, businesses, we are concerned about the time and money, isn't it? So what is that particular process which is going to really take up that time and money related to this ransomware? That is where we have to think about. Next is having to implement a multi-factor authentication, okay, on every remote access point. This is a very important technique because Multi-factor authentication is authentication. I think you can understand. It is giving access to someone, right? Identifying someone as a authentic person, or identifying something as a authentic identity, right? So authentication is what we all know about. And then what is now the multi-factor authentication? Okay, say for example, I have my Aadhaar card. Okay, I have my Aadhaar card. Aadhaar card is going to be one authenticated document that I possess. But beyond that, why do we have a voter ID? Why do we have a passport? Why do we have a license? Okay, all these things also recognized as a document, government document to identify us. All right. At some places, you would have seen the combination of these documents. You give your Aadhaar card, you give your voter ID, you give your PAN card. You give your Aadhaar card, you give your passport, and you give your PAN card. You give your Aadhaar card, you give your what is that, license, and then you give your PAN card. So you have a combination, right? That is called as the multi-factor authentication. You have to have the information same in all these things. In case also, if it is not same, at least there must be a link. For example, in my own case, okay, in my own case, my Aadhaar card has a different address. My voter ID has a different address. My PAN card has a different address. And you say only the name, my father's name and my husband's name, these three will be the same. And the other thing is the district in which all these three things are taken up, this will be same. Okay, then they come to a conclusion, okay, this is the person, she has moved somewhere around the same district here and there, and so the address has changed. So that is how people must have some sort of linking information. When that is lacking, then this point of having a multi-factor authentication becomes very, very essential. All right, so we'll see. Altering the threat. Okay, you'll have to alter the threat landscape. What is the threat landscape? As I told you right now, all these three documents are having different addresses, right? This is a threat to the data. It does not have any connectivity other than my name, my father's name, and my husband's name and the place. Okay, all the other things are different. So this is a threat to the data, to my data. So I'm going and asking for the acceptance of or authentication of my own data. It is considered as a threat because the landscapes are different, because the information present there are different. All right, so that is where we have to be careful about how these multi-factor authentications have to be brought in for the organization to consider, right? Challenging threat actors to divert their ways to compromise on networks, this is another thing. Okay, so instead of getting directly into the database, we should have such a multi-factor authentication system that these people who are trying to hack the network must compromise themselves on the networks they are really having. Okay, they are really trying to intrude. Okay, there itself they should stop their process. They should become tired of that particular process. So it is really going to be a challenge for the threat actors and we must make them to divert their ways to compromise on the networks available rather than getting to the database themselves which are available on the network, right? Then reducing the effectiveness of the email takeover campaigns. So what I told you, like business email compromises that we have as one of the most efficient data theft that is possible right now, or the efficient method of giving what are inserting or penetrating through the network of one particular company. This has to be really given up. You should not invite or you should not accept the emails which are shooted into one particular network from somewhere else. So that is the job done by firewalls everywhere. But in case if the data administrator is very lethargic about the combination of the email IDs that are coming in and the service providers they are talking about, okay, all these things, if they have a lacuna, then the effectiveness goes off. Okay, so that is where the effectiveness of reducing the email campaigns must be taken up. All right, then rigorous identity and access management. So very rigorously, the identity and the access management has to be taken up. That is what we have in our Google system now, right? Very rigorous identity and access management. So is this you? Like even if it is myself, I have to go on for sometimes what happens, I go on downloading certain PDFs for creating content like this. What will happen after some point of time, some 45 minutes or yeah, sure. We should be having a spare email ID that which can be shared at unwanted places. Exactly, ma'am. So what happens is whenever I try to go and use it at some other system, we will be having this identity and access management as a very cutthroat practice there. We'll become tired of it, right? It will ask for a captcha. It will not stop with one captcha, and then it will try to understand whether I am a robo or not, and then it will put up with a few pictures. Click on the cars you find in these images, click on the trees that you find on these images, one after the other it keeps on coming. Click on the mountains that you find on this, click on the signals that you find on this. We'll become tired, we'll close the system for some time. Okay, so this is the methodology to control it. Okay, control the continuous access of some data. I have done this when I have downloaded so many research articles during my research, okay, during my PhD paper presentations. So always I'll try to download at least some 100 or 150 papers for my references. And what happens is after some 25, 26 papers, this will start happening. Then I will understand that Google is trying to stop me from downloading or accessing this information. I will close the system for that day. Next day when I open, it will start with the same verification process again. Okay, but it will give me only once. It will start with the car or trees or mountains once, and then I will start again downloading certain articles. So the identity and access management, that has become a very important topic nowadays. All right, so that some sort of security they are trying to give to the businesses or the data that is getting prevailing over all the places. All right, then the third one is going to be the approaches to combat these threats. Okay, the layered approach we have to follow to combat the phishing. So when you have this phishing throughout your organization, when you become susceptible to this, how is that you can be intimated? Okay, how is that you can be informed about that particular phishing? That is what we are trying to understand, right? So the effective user awareness and the education with the real world incidents. As I told you that the 12,000 and 1,200, this is a real world incident, isn't it? How are we really going to connect ourselves to all those threats? Everybody would have come across this particular thing. You know, once my mobile's display got broken and I could not access the email ID for 2 days. Until I changed my display, I was very free. I did not access anything. I did not know that the email has come. It was somewhat a sense of freedom, but still we got disconnected for 2 days from the entire world, from getting communication from the entire world. Okay, so that is where the user becomes very aware. So if this is not done, my data becomes insecure. That is where the user or the entity which is generating that particular data becomes very aware. Okay, and then deploying an email software security solution to filter out the malicious messages. This is happening in all the firewalls. Okay, if I am going to give a mail to any other company, my mail will be there in the firewall itself. It will not enter until the email is what accepted by someone, that it is a authentic one. Nobody is going to open it up at all. So that is what we have to be doing in case of this business email compromises. Stop this business email compromises, then we will have lots and lots of phishing undone, really, right? Implementing defensive software. See, these are the points where we have to go for implementing our defensive software. Behavioral based anti-malware detection. So see, if at all we would have come across all the situations or stories like one person trying to access the account of one what is that bank account of another person. He keeps on getting the OTP. This guy calls the other person, tries to get the information from him, open the account and withdraw money. Okay, such things have happened with the most of the teachers who are very elderly in age. Okay, those who were not aware of all these ATM transactions and the digital transactions happening within the bank, people can really create havoc for them with these financial transactions. I have also personally come across so many incidents, like even my own mom, she underwent such a thing. So there was a guy who was keeping on calling thrice and she was telling some number. I was there along with her and she was continuously receiving some call from some number. They said themselves to be the bank person and she was giving this number. Third time I became alert. First two times I was just thinking that she was talking to a bank person. That's okay. And the third time I got suspect. So my suspect has also proved true. Okay, so then I got the mobile from her and I called them. Who are you? What are you asking for? And then I understood. No offenses with anybody. The guy was a North Indian. Okay, he was calling my mom and my mom was also answering. I got the mobile from her and I stopped that activity right then and there. Twice she gave the OTP. 15,000, 15,000, 30,000 went off. So even before the behavioral thing, okay, when something is happening continuously, we should be aware that even our accounts can be susceptible to that sort of attack. So that is where we must be very careful. And then endpoint detection and response. What is that endpoint detection and response is? Which system or which equipment is receiving your information. For example, we may be receiving information from this RBI, from this telecommunications department, that if you receive any calls from such and such numbers, international numbers, don't attend these calls because these calls really tend to hack the information from our Indian servers, isn't it? So we have to be very careful about what is that end point which the person, okay, the malicious user is trying to hack. Okay, that person will be a common citizen, okay, who do not have any awareness about that he is going to be a victim of all such things. So that endpoint detection and response must be there. Okay, the intrusion detection and prevention solutions. This is related to the entire network. Okay, intrusion detection is all about how a Trojan or a virus program or any sort of breaking up this intrusion programs are getting into the network, and how is it going to take up the information. Okay, is it going to damage the information or is it going to retrieve some information for its own cause? That is what are the two purposes they have, right? Then we have the security information and the event management systems. So here there will be a log. Okay, that is what is called the event management system. There will be a log. For example, I can open Google any number of times on a particular day, isn't it? So my account will be having all those information. When did I log in? When did I log out? When did I log in? When did I log out? It will be having a certain number of entries in my own account. So that is where you try to understand that a person may be using this particular resource for any number of times on a single day. So that is where if it is not done on that on the same pattern, okay, they will come up like saying, say, for so many days you didn't open up this website at all. For so many days you did not use this service at all. What has happened to you? They come up with some information. Okay, so then we try to respond. For example, I have this Google Amazon Prime, okay, where I watch a few movies. I have a yearly subscription. What happens is at some point of time, I don't watch movies so much. Okay, I'm not a movie buff, so I don't keep on watching. Whenever I feel like some movies are coming up in Amazon Prime, I'll log in and watch that movie, then shut it down. That's all. Nothing else will be my activity on that. So after some 2-3 months, I will never open. Fourth month, I will open. Now, what will happen is Amazon Prime will question me. Where were you? Where did you go? Why didn't you open for these 3 months? We had so many movies. Why didn't you see? All these questions it will pose to me. Okay, so this is the event management system. when did I log in? When did I use the service? How many times did I use that service? How many hours did I use that service? All these things become very important as an aspect of the data security. Okay, so that is where all these systems are becoming very important for us to really look into, right? Then refine and redefine the vulnerability management system. So I told you vulnerability management system is systems are what we create, isn't it? We will be giving some loopholes. If the admin, okay, the topmost admin, say for the example, the CEO of the company wants to see the information of a any person who is working under him, he has the right to open and see, isn't it? So that is what called as the vulnerability. All right, this account is vulnerable within the organization itself also. I can say that it is safe among my peers, but it is not safe among my seniors. Okay, so that is where the vulnerability management system, that is how it is defined. Okay, so how are we going to redefine it? How are we going to refine those so that these information which is accessible to this people and which are not accessible to those people, we have to differentiate it. Okay, what is necessary for this person, what is not necessary for this person, that has to be differentiated and then provided. So that is where we have to understand the refining and redefining the vulnerability management systems for the data which is available for our organizations. Okay, so we'll see what are all the points here. See, dedicate a team for the vulnerability management. So as the database administrator, I was telling you, we will be having a dedicated team. Like normally we have an IT team in all the organizations, right? So they will be dealing with this vulnerability management. Then you have to identify, prioritize, scan and manage the vulnerability. So these are the 4 steps. Okay, first one is identify who is asking for the information. So if it is going to be a peer, okay, if it is going to be a peer, it cannot be shared. Okay, you both are in the same category, cannot be shared. If it is a person lower to my cadre, lower to my rank, again it cannot be shared. If the information is sought out by a person higher than my rank, then it is given, right? The priority is given, so they can just open my account and see. So identifying who is requesting that information, prioritizing who is that particular person having that priority of really accessing my data, scanning. So the entire information will be present also. And even in LinkedIn, you can see, isn't it? How many people viewed your profile, how many people viewed your profile in private, and it keeps on giving you all this information. All these social media also follow all these vulnerability management systems, right? Then manage the vulnerability. So if at all it is to be informed to that particular person, tell them. Okay, if it is not necessary, don't tell them. So that is how the management of the vulnerability also happens. Okay, so that is all about the data security that the companies can really plan for themselves, and they have lots and lots of products given by IBM, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, all these people who develop this software and sell throughout the world. All right, so this is how the companies can really come up with all the data security things that they want. Okay, so as a wrap up, we'll see how this data is really present as a physical security, as the digital security. Okay, the types of securities we have seen, the avatars of different securities we have seen, and we moved on to the phases. Okay, the actual metamorphosis of data security. It was once as the data security, then it became the information security, then it emerged as a cyber security, then now it has ended up with the cloud security. And the next point we have seen is related to how vulnerable are the data all around the world, and then what are all the industries which became vulnerable throughout the pandemic and the yesteryears. Okay, then what is the statistics related to how vulnerable all these data are, where are all the data breaches happening. Okay, so then we have this data security plans. What is that zero trust philosophy that all the companies are trying to follow right now? Never believe in any of the software that you have or the platforms that you have, right? And then how can the companies really plan for their data data security, okay, by developing response plan, having a multi-factor authentication, having a layered approach for combating the phishing, and by redefining their vulnerability management system. So that's all about how this data security or the cloud security or the cyber security, whatever we name it, right? Because it has come across so many phases. So what we call as cloud security started as a data security, isn't it? So this is one form of data security, right? So this is how the entire world is right now operating on their own platforms. They don't believe themselves. That is the ultimate mantra they have. Even if the CEO is going to open his own account, the company Google platform will not allow him to open by himself from any of his new bought equipment. So that's how the data security is being done right now in all the platforms. So thank you all being with me for this beautiful session. I hope it was not too technical. And I think I have related it to the commerce and finance everywhere, wherever it was possible for me to relate. And I thank this institution, St.Ann's College, for this wonderful opportunity. Dr. Anuradha for personally inviting me, and we had a word in the conclave also. We discussed a lot many things, how this is going to be, and she gave me the idea of like what is actually required and what is to be imparted as a knowledge to all the audience right here. And I was really happy that I met her prior, and I hope that I have really served the purpose of being here all with you, with all of you in this FDP. And I thank Miles as the because that is the platform from which I come from, isn't it? Unless Miles Education Private Limited has not shown me as a resource person to you, I would have not joined, I have not got introduced to another ma'am, and would not have a situation or a chance to meet all of you. So now I am a known face to all of you, and I really welcome all the students. If at all you have any doubts relating to any of these things, please feel free to contact me and clarify, because as a part of the teaching community, as a part of the educationist community, I always feel elated when I be with the academy. That is where I am as my own being, right? So that is where we really feel how teaching and what is this dissemination of the knowledge to everyone becomes very fruitful. Okay, thank you again, all of you, for having this wonderful platform to share all my knowledge and views about this data security. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful session. Thanks for pouring for you. At the outset, I would say you have put so many technical things in a very much humble way. I really appreciate the sincerity, and as a co-teacher, I'm saying your teaching skills are great.
Thank you.
You sounded it so simple, even though so many technical issues were there and you were dealing with a lot of information with a limited time challenge that we gave you. Thanks a lot, ma'am. So any questions from the participant delegates? You can unmute yourself or put your query in the chat box. Ma'am, the inputs that you gave were really so great and so technical. I definitely think you have put us on sale. The sales would be down if we don't update our knowledge. So you have made us realize that these are the technical things that we need to update ourselves, learn to fit into the present challenges.
Exactly.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. There's a question from JP Bharati.
Yeah.
Thank you for this question. How safe are we with Alexa at home? Actually, you are not safe with Alexa, because you know this one, no, artificial intelligence. It really it is a map. It is going to follow you wherever you go. Remember whatever you do, and it keeps track of whatever you are doing. Okay, so that is why we see this artificial intelligence penetrating into our personal life today. We saw that as a technology which is going to help the human community, but we understand that it is intruding into the personal or the private space of every person. So that is why when you have this Alexa or the Siri on your mobile, when it is not normally used, like where is my, you can ask for where is my mobile, where is my address, or where is my medicine. It is okay, but if some person who comes there and trains Alexa with their own voice at your home and comes back sometime later, even when you are not there at the home, when we live in the apartments where the security also will be allowing these people into the home, they will have a second key. Okay, Alexa, open the door, finished. So that is how we are all completely vulnerable in the hands of Alexa. I personally recommend, do not use that equipment at all. Never use that equipment at all, because it is being given as a toy in the hands of the children. And it is like it says everything about the house. So it is not actually advisable. Nobody must know what is happening within our house. Only I think most of us will go with this word. We always build our halls very exposed, but not our bedrooms, right? So this Alexa is going to enter into every place. It's not actually advisable. So please don't follow equipments and technology with all your eyes tied.
Thank you, ma'am, for that piece of advice.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other further questions before we move into the reporting of the 5-day FDP? Ma'am, thank you so much on behalf of St. Pius College for Management and St. Anne's College for your splendid expertise that you shared with us. Thank you, ma'am. You can stay back with us for the brief report I will be giving on the 6-day FDP.
Sure, ma'am, I'll stay back.
So before I start giving the report for the day, I would like the participants to unmute and open up your videos, share your videos. If you have any reflections to talk upon the 6-day FDP that you were attending to. Now I invite the participants to please share your opinions on this 6-day FDP. If any of the participants would like to share, or you can put your opinions or feedback in the chat box. Okay. I think Padma Priya ma'am is sharing some things. Yes, ma'am, kindly unmute yourself. Can I ask the technical persons to please give access to Padma Priya ma'am, because ma'am sharing some opinions regarding this seminar.
Ma'am can unmute themselves, ma'am. She can talk. She
Yeah,
wants to
but-
share the screen.
Yeah, ma'am is talking, but we are not able to hear her.
One
Padma
second.
Priya ma'am, can you please retry? Sorry, Padma Priya ma'am, we are still not able to hear you.
She is unmuted, but unable to.
Yeah.
Probably there's something on her end. She's unmuted. Her video is on.
Yes, yes.
She has some technical issue, I guess. Ma'am, please proceed.
Ma'am, Padma Priya ma'am, please share your opinions in the chat box. I will proceed with sharing the report for this. Okay. A brief report on the national level FDP virtual FDP program that was held on the topic, recent trends in commerce and industry. The 6-day program was held from 28th November to 3rd December 2022. This particular program was held as a collaborative FDP by St.Ann's College for Women, Mehdipatnam, and St. Ann Degree and PG College for Women, Nacharam. And it was held at the national level, which invited over 100 participants from all over India. We had participants mostly from Telangana, followed by Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Bihar, and also from Uttar Pradesh. At the outset, our principals, Dr. S.P. Amrita, Principal St. Anne's College for Women, and Reverend Sister B. Velangani Kumari, Principal St. Pius X Degree and PG College for Women, invited all the delegates for this particular program. IQAC coordinator of St. Anne's College, Dr. Smita Asthana, also invited with a welcome note to all the participants for an enriching learning experience. This FDP was connected to bridge the gap between the industry and the academia for appraising them for a need to upbuild the knowledge and impart the technical skills among the present teachers. So it had an objective to enhancing the skills for the academic growth and for making a conducive research atmosphere with a vision towards moving towards industry adaptability. So on the day one, we started with a very good speaker, Ms. Kiruba Nagini, who also ended our last session. So it was an all-round participation and a lead from Madam. Thank you, Nagini ma'am. And the topic that was the snippet of the day covered various technical details like blockchain management, metaverse, dataface, artificial intelligence, and there were a lot of challenges of data dealing, data mining, data security. So these were some of the technical aspects covered on day one. The day two followed by digital marketing trends and the new age education. And the resource person was Mr. Mahesh Balakrishnan, an angel investor in digital marketing company, an edtech platform from Singapore. And sir covered various topics. He gave various edtech tools. The specialization of that day's events where the teachers were exposed to the micro specializations, dealing with various trends in the field of education, and like the digital marketing, how it was a need of the day. So this was covered on day two. On day three, since business environment is a part of the industry, tackling climate crisis, challenges and solutions, with resource person, Mr. Vinay Kumar, CSR professional manager in carbon and sustainability, accounting team from Quest Capital, held the session covering various topics about the present climate crisis, the causes, the greenhouse effect, and offered various solutions to tackle up these climate changes. Day four, we had two interesting sessions. One was taking on to the journey of understanding the Indian accounting standards by Mr. Akhil Kapadia, who spoke about the various conversation of Indian accounting standards with the international accounting standards. And we had one more session chaired by K.V. Ramchandra Rao, a chartered accountant, who put up in the journey from classroom to corporate. So both of them covered various topics, talking about the technical aspects of finance, accounting, and not the simple accounting that we do, but according to the changes, the computerized platforms that we are using, how there is a need to have an overall view into the technical details of the corporate accounting transaction. So it had a good industry connect on day four. This followed by a connecting topic, changing scope of audit, given by Mr. Sai Manikanta, CMA, US ACCA, and founder and trainer at CFO. Sir spoke upon the various traditional aspects of auditing, the need and scope, and then transported us into the various auditing procedure when it was like how the data is now shared, how we are using technology, and how the auditing of the systems is more important than auditing on the procedure. So this was a very good exposure to all the teachers in understanding how in an e-environment, the auditing also takes place and the significance of that. The day 6, we were connecting back to Kiruba Nagini on the topic metamorphosis of data security, which is the need. I believe the topics have been rightly placed, where we started with understanding the need for data, the data inputs in between, the data is compiled. Now there is a data, so we need to secure the data. So everything was in a particular order. Thanks for making the circle complete, madam. So this was on day 6. And the entire FDP was connected on a Zoom link where the participant had a choice of entering through the Zoom platform and being active participant. There was another option where the same sessions were also live telecasted through the YouTube links on day-to-day basis, supported by the technical team from St.Ann's College, Mehdipatnam. The feedback links for every session was shared, and those things will be compiled later. So at this particular stage, I would like to propose a vote of thanks. So I express my gratitude to the successful event of this. And education is most profitable investment for a happy future. And I believe all of you will agree with me. A very good evening to one and all present over here. I, G. Nagalakshmi, Head Department of Commerce, St. Pius X Degree and PG College for Women, deem it as a great privilege to propose the vote of thanks at the end of this 6-day fruitful virtual faculty development program on the recent trends of commerce and industry. This FDP is a result of the collaborative interest between St.Ann's College, Mehdipatnam for Women and St. Pius College, Degree and PG College for Women, Acharam, and it has been supported by both the IQAC coordinators from both the colleges. At the outset, I would like to thank the Almighty God for providing us this opportunity to connect us all on this particular platform. I thank our principals, Dr. Amrita, Sister Amrita, and Sister B. Velangani Kumari, and the management of both the colleges for their constant support and encouraging the faculty to take up these sort of seminars. My heartfelt thanks to heartfelt and sincere thanks, and a special personal thanks to Mrs. Anuradha Madam, Head Department of Commerce, St.Ann's College for Women, who has a deep interest and provided us the right direction and the coordination for making this event a grand success. I express my gratitude to all the esteemed speakers and delegates for your presence and contribution to make this FDP a great success. All the talks for these 6 days given by the various experts were very interesting and inspiring. The interactions with the participants and the contributory thoughts given by them were really outstanding. I appreciate the audience and the participants. Thanks to each one of you. I would fail in my duty if I do not acknowledge the support extended by our own faculty members. So a big thanks to all the department members from both the colleges. My special thanks to the steady technical support extended by the technical team of St.Ann's College, Mehdipatnam, without whose support these virtual FDPs could not have been a success throughout. And at the end, I would like to thank all the participants for, even though it is like an add-on time, after the regular college hours, 5 to 7, the peak time where we usually, it is a family time, spending the time to upgrade our knowledge, spending the time, really a big thanks for sparing such valuable time and being a part of this seminar. So expecting much more such fruitful interactions from the teaching fraternity. A big thank you to all of you. Thank you all. And this is a big salute to our national flag, because all this is towards nation building. And
Madam, I think there is a link to play the national anthem. Please see.
Ma'am, I think the link should be played from your side because it's not coming for me.
It's not
I
that,
just
ma'am.
tried
It has a, okay, anyway. Actually, it has audio recording in that. You just have to click on the corner. There is
Yes,
a,
ma'am, I tried it, but it was not playing.
there
So
is
I
a small
thought maybe.
icon. There's a very small icon there.
Yeah, I'll try, ma'am.
Just check, ma'am. Otherwise, I think we can.
See, it is showing for me blank, ma'am. I was trying
Okay,
before
okay.
I could try
Fine,
on.
ma'am. Fine.
So it is with a virtual big salute to our national flag. Ma'am, would you like to add any more inputs before
Ma'am, you
we?
have almost covered it extensively. In fact, I just mentioned my sincere thanks to all the members. It's been really great that everybody participated. I still see 40 plus, participants. And a big thanks to Kiruva ma'am.
Yes,
And that's it, ma'am. You have almost done my job. So not much to hold people behind.
yes, ma'am.
Let's see if we can play the national anthem.
Sure, ma'am.
Ma'am, I think you are not in the presentation mode. If you go to the presentation mode, it may play.
Ma'am, I'll close my presentation. If you can try from your side, it will be great.
I am, but it is not, it's
Yeah.
only audible to me.
Yes, ma'am. So we have various feedbacks given in the chat box. So definitely we value all your opinions, participants. So all the dear teachers for sparing such valuable time and being a part of this seminar. Let us be in touch with each other. Sharing increases our knowledge. So let us be open to this type of sharing platforms. Anuradha madam, can we just say
Ma'am?
bye? Yes.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Can you please stop sharing? I'll try once.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, you can try.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
I can request all the participants also to keep your videos on. We can take a photo for record purpose.
Rupa, are you trying it, dear?
Yeah, ma'am. One
Yeah.
second. I'm just trying.
Yeah, we'll just wait a while so that we
Yeah.
can close with the national anthem. Due
Till that
respect to
time,
the
I can
nation.
request all the participants to start your video. The sessions were very useful. It helps to connect with the curriculum. Very well organized. Yeah.
Ma'am, is national anthem is audible to you? If I
No, ma'am.
play?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You can sing.
If there is any good singer in the group and wants to initiate singing, we can have a live session of the national anthem.
Thanks, Rupa. You're our savior for the day. So
Yeah,
as
thank you, ma'am. So
as
with
Nagalakshmi
Jai
ma'am suggested, so please all of you keep your videos open. We can have our
Hello, Anuradha ma'am.
hello, madam. Hello.
Thanks to you.
Some technical snag for me here. It's taking long. Yeah.
You were so active, interacting with us.
My duty, ma'am. I'm happy there were participants, 30, 40 participants all through.
Yes, still there with us.
Can I request the others to unmute? No, I think not yet. Hello, ma'am. Jansi, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You've been to the content development today. We just heard you're also been active participant at BRAOU.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Actually, I thought if an opportunity is given, I want to say something about this program.
Please, ma'am. Welcome.
Because really, I learned a lot of new things which are not there in our books. Neither we are teaching to our students, taking from the account standards, IGAP, INDAS, and also the first session, the day when I heard ABCD. Even I spoke on the second day also because with the sir that I want to learn blockchain technology and other from IIT Delhi, sir suggested better go for some other things. So, ma'am, Nagini ma'am, I'm very much thankful to you because I'm planning to write few papers on this FDP by taking these inputs for my writing an academic research paper. And that was very wonderful. And even, ma'am, I thought how my account will be hacked and whatever you're telling today, cyber security, though we think everything is secured, but still we are in trouble and how vulnerable we are going to be hacked. So thank God, still now I didn't face any such problems and expecting not to have in future also. I'm thankful to St. Paul's College and St. Anne's Mahidipatnam College for taking this good initiation. Because today Mahita ma'am also came to our college. I was talking about this FDP only. That ma'am, it is very good program, ma'am. Why don't you plan with in collaboration with City College?
Oh, ma'am, welcome. We are
Yeah,
looking
because the
forward to
resource
such.
persons were extremely and extraordinary, ma'am. Why? Because normally we are just teaching the last 25 or 30 years same curriculum, and we cannot change them immediately because we don't have any textbooks or any content for the students to provide. But this knowledge is required even to provide these insights to our students, though they read or not. But when they go for professional studies, it will be much more useful to them. And when they even go for teaching profession or some other profession, it will be useful for them. Thank you so much, ma'am. And expecting many more things because I learned a lot of new things. Yesterday also, because normally I reached by 6:15, I was in driving and I was listening. That is the reason I could not respond. As soon as I reach home, I was responding because drop shopping. Yesterday I heard a new word. Though we know that, but we don't know the technical term. So all the sessions were extremely and extraordinary, very good, ma'am. Thankful, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. You can actually share those YouTube videos with your students if you wish to. The whole idea was that the whatever resource persons share with us, it will be there in our portals. So in our ICT St. Anne's portal YouTube channel, all these are hosted. Please do visit it, ma'am. Thank you so much for those nice words.
Sure, ma'am.
Looking forward. We'll look forward to work with each of you. And Kruba ma'am, you made things so simple. Never knew technical stuff can get into my head. It was always above my head. So
that is
Kruba
100% agreed from our side also, ma'am. Made it sound so easy.
Yes.
It's always my pleasure, ma'am.
I never knew one day I would sit through 2 hours sessions of something called ABCD, RPA. It all still scares me, the technical jargon still scares me. Ma'am, a request from some of the audience and participants to share your number. If you are willing to, can I share your number?
Of course, ma'am.
I'm
Of course,
sure
ma'am.
you'll be
Please.
delighted to join other programs and share your extensive knowledge. Thank you, ma'am, for that support. Yes, ma'am?
Sure, ma'am. Please.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you all once again. We shall close for today and looking forward, coming up with few more workshops and seminars in the next academic year and as well in the next few months. So we'll share our flyers with all the participants. All your details are registered with us. So looking forward for your participation once again. Thank you. We shall close now.
Yes. So a big thanks from St. Pius College also, wishing you a very happy Christmas season and advanced
Oh,
Happy
right.
New Year to all the
True, true.
participants.
Yes, ma'am. True, very true.
Yeah.
A very happy new year. Kruba ma'am, my special greetings to you for the new year. A happy new year to you. Hope we meet again sometime.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Thank you.
Definitely.
So,
Rupa,
ma'am, we will close it.